great scholarly tradition with an eye on our current academic climate and an informed vision for the future. Beginning with the presentation of the Malherbe papers and the closing with the fourth annual Abraham J. Malherbe plenary lecture. Abe was the Buckingham Professor of New Testament Christian Criticism and Interpretation Emeritus at Yale Divinity School, a prolific author who made major academic and ecclesial contributions and shaped generations of scholars through his love for the New Testament, the ancient world, and with Phyllis at his side, the two were the consummate churchman and churchwoman, deeply engaged at the end of their lives with the Christian Scholars Conference, confidant, session organizer, advisor during the most transformative years in the life of this conference. The archival collection and display, which is in the foyer entrance immediately south of this room, where we are now seated, includes multiple documents like the draft of Malherbe's 1957 Greek oration at Harvard Divinity School commencement address, and the crown jewel, which was Abe's heavily notated Greek Novum Testamentum. The display represents the larger archival collection, professionally brought together and for display and will be archived by Elizabeth Rivera and overseen by the Dean of Libraries, Sandra Piron. Of his multiple accomplishments represented in this archival collection, it's a notable treasure for both scholars and researchers to study the significant work of this scholar and churchman, and with the plenary named in his honor, to keep before us the highest standards of scholarship applicable to all the disciplines. And now for the presentation of the gift, John T. Fitzgerald, a former student of Abe's, close friend and colleague. For 31 years at the University of Miami, John served as chair of the Department of Religious Studies and is now professor of Biblical Studies, Christianity, and Judaism in Antiquity at Notre Dame. His work includes 9 books as an author, translator, and editor, as well as scores of scholarly articles and reviews. And then, following John Fitzgerald, will be the Honorable Selina Malherbe, known in North Carolina as a fair-minded and honest administrative law judge, and known to all of us as Abe and Phyllis's eldest daughter, who is here with her sister, Neil. Accepting the papers for the Christian Scholars Conference in Lipscomb University will be Rhonda Lowry, presidential spouse and an essential board member of the Thomas H. Albright Christian Scholars Conference.
Thank you, David. Let me begin with a statement, then exegete it. There are New Testament scholars, and then there are New Testament scholars. The vast majority of us whose profession involves interpreting the New Testament belong to the first group. We do research, make discoveries, write up our findings, submit articles to journals and monographs to publishers, and if we are sufficiently fortunate, our work is accepted and published. And if we are really, really fortunate, someone other than our spouse, our closest friends, and members of tenure and promotion review committees will actually read what we have written. Then there are the scholars. That elite group of erudite interpreters whose publications the rest of us read no matter what the specific topic. We do so because of the profound insights that they offer, the text that they discuss in ways that we had not previously imagined, and the many ways, both large and small, in which they open up for us new vistas of understanding. Abraham Johannes Malherbe belonged to that elite group of scholars. He stood at the pinnacle of that select group and was, until the day of his death, the finest New Testament scholar the Restoration Movement has produced. What makes this collection of his papers, memorabilia, and photos so valuable and worthy of cherishing is who Abe was and what he stood for as a Christian scholar. His life and his work embodied Christian scholarship in its best sense, done in service to both the church and the academy. And this collection serves as a salutary reminder of the high standards to which we are all called as Christians, whether students, scholars, lay people, or those who serve in religious orders. As David indicated, the crown jewel of this collection is his copy of the Greek New Testament, with its margins filled with his own insights into the New Testament and that of others, which he deemed worthy of recording. These marginal notes were the seeds from which his ideas grew and eventually blossomed into publications. One has only to look at the notes to 1st and 2nd Thessalonians to see how they developed into a sustained exegesis of those two letters. But many notes were never published, and they constitute a treasure trove of insights waiting to be turned into full-fledged articles. One of the highest compliments that other scholars could receive from Abe was to have him write down their insights into the margins of his Greek Testament. It was not quite like having your name written down in the Book of Life, but it was exegetical nirvana. In conclusion, let me thank both Lipscomb University and the Thomas H. Albright Christian Scholars Conference for your willingness to serve as the custodian of this valuable collection and for holding forth Abe as a reminder of the kind of scholarship to which we are all called. We're grateful to you. Thank you so much.
It is good to be here with you today. Dad often referred to the Church of Christ as a large family that extended around the world, and everywhere he and Mom traveled, they could always visit a local congregation and know that they would see someone with whom they had a personal connection. Here at the CSC, Neil and I have enjoyed renewing old acquaintances, and in this family reunion that Dad enjoyed every year. After Mom died last year, Neil, Jan, and I had to decide on the appropriate recipient of various of Dad's papers, as well as several items of his and Mom's. Dad cared deeply about scholarship and the church, and he supported endeavors that fostered scholarship and service to the church. He was especially proud of the Christian Scholars Conference, which was founded by his friend Tom Albright. Under Tom's leadership grew to what it is today. Dad bragged about the papers delivered here were often equal to or even better than papers delivered at conferences such as the SBL. And Mom, that remarkable woman, supported biblical scholarship in a variety of timeless ways, as well as labored hard in church service and personal ministry, including to many of you. We selected Lipscomb as beneficiary chiefly because it has become the primary home of the Thomas H. Albright Christian Scholars Conference. It is here that the Abraham J. Malherbe plenary lecture is delivered, and thereby the memory of Dad's own contributions to scholarship, and both Mom's and Dad's dedication to the church is maintained. We are grateful to Lipscomb for supporting this endeavor and for honoring our parents in this way.
It was Ben Franklin who said, "A happy heart is a thankful heart." Lipscomb University today is extremely honored and grateful to be receiving these papers on behalf of the Christian Scholars Conference and scholars all over the world. It is an amazing place where the juxtaposition of honor and humility lies in one's soul. And yet today, that's exactly where we find ourselves, because we are very, very honored with this gift. We are honored to be the custodians of such amazing, amazing research and amazing insights into God's story. And at the same time, we are very, very humbled because we know that it is because of the work of all of you as scholars, the people that have given so much to this conference, that we are given this honor. So we say thank you. We say thank you first to the families, Selena, Neil, and Jan, for trusting us with your dad's tangible legacy, for giving us this honor of being the custodians, and we commit to you that we will protect it, that we will maintain it and keep it clean, that we will make sure that it is not altered in any way. But we also commit to you to foster a community of people worthy of these papers, to foster a community of excellent scholarship. We are committed to that to the best of our ability and God's help. I also come and I thank all of you. I thank you and I ask you and invite you to come and use these papers. If you are a seasoned scholar, an experienced scholar, and you hit that wall that all of us have hit at some point, come and allow yourself to be enveloped into what is absolutely the best of scholarship. It will inspire you. It might even give you an insight that would allow you to determine what God is doing in the world today. Please don't let them sit. If you're a young, new scholar that's desiring a heuristic experience and technique into your research, come again. I can almost hear Dr. Malherbe laughing and saying, oh yes, Rhonda, invite the young ones. Invite them to come in. Let them feast at the table of my work. What an amazing gift we have. We close today with just simply grateful hearts, a commitment to honor, a commitment to care, and a commitment to be the givers and the caretakers of this amazing work. Thank you, Selena. Thank you, Neil. And thank you, Jan. Thank you, scholars.